All right, man, coming at you is part 2. If you ain't listening to part 1, get your ass back there and listen to the previous episode. But before we get into this banger of an episode, got a handful of things I want to throw at you. This is one of 2 different types of episodes I have with inside this project. It's a full-length episode, 60 to 90 minutes. I have a guest or 2 on, and we talk about everything, as you're going to see. And then on opposite weeks, that's just me yelling into this microphone about shit that I think you need to hear. Those are called B-Raw Bites. I go live on Facebook and YouTube. Would love for you to join me on those 2 platforms. Anything you need to know about the show, you can find over at the website, brawpodcast.com. A bunch of merch. Join the newsletter. You want some blogs. Got all sorts of crazy stuff over there. brawpodcast.com. Now, everything that I do at this show, everything you see with this label on it, I do myself. I'm a one-man band. There's a lot of noise in the podcast arena, and I truly appreciate and love you guys for taking your time and listening to what I have to say, and of course what my guests have to say. But anything you could do to help pass this along, put a 5-star review up. Just click 5 stars. Tell a friend or 7. All that is very helpful. And speaking of help, there's 2 companies that I've been pushing for a while, and I love all these guys to death. I use their product on the regular. First up is High Speed Daddy. Craig and his crew over there make some awesome stuff. I use it, again, on the regular. Backpacks, lunchboxes, clothing, all sorts of stuff you can imagine. Great product, awesome customer service. And of course, Live Rishi. The crew over there is doing a great job. I used the hell out of that stuff while I was on vacation. The Rishi rub and especially the tincture helping me sleep at night. Check that out and use the code TABLE50 and you're going to get 50% off your entire order. So show the guys that and the crews over at these 2 companies some love for helping us out and bringing this content to you. All right, man, let's get on to this show. Brian over at Unfiltered Discussions. He's got a great show. You want to check that out. Of course, link is in the show notes. We go in all sorts of crazy directions, talking about some crazy stuff that's happened to us, and we also get into some serious things about parenting and mental health, which I would love your feedback on. And Brian has a story about being in court and what he has to describe. But as normal, I'm going to let him tell you all about it. Let's get to it. IT stuff is not my gig, and I got like a multi-screen setup and all this shit going on, right? And my buddy helps me out. He's an IT geek. And then once in a while, something will go haywire. I'm fucked. Until he can help me out, dude, because I'm like, what? I don't know what I'm doing. But, so I'm working out kinks, dude. But yeah, I like your background. When I saw your post, I was like, because everybody would, back in the day when Tombstone came out.
Oh, dude.
I got halfway through that movie. I was like, this is a fucking gangster movie. This is not a Western.
100%.
And like Yellowstone, the TV show out now, which I'm a fucking huge fan of.
Me too.
It's a fucking gangster movie. It's a gangster show.
I think Yellowstone, we said it in the episode, so when it comes out, you'll be able to listen to it. But
did you give me shit? You shout me out?
No. I shouted you out on the whole gangster movie thing because I totally see that. It was a good revelation for me. But like the whole drama piece of Yellowstone reminds me of novellas, where the lady takes 5 minutes to die. It's the Mexican or the Spanish soap operas. So
I've never watched those.
Oh, dude, you've got to look it up because like just Google like best novella death scene and you'll see somebody that was like, slapped with a tortilla. And I'm not being racist here. Like they literally slap them with a tortilla or something else.
Oh shit.
A chancla or whatever. And next thing you know, lady is just like, oh my God. And then takes 10 minutes to fall. And next thing you know, she's dead. And I'm like,
that's amazing, dude.
Yeah.
That's
it's the most dramatic type of death you'd ever be able to find on film. It's so beautiful. I love it. It's incredible. But yeah, I think that modern day Westerns are very much novellas or soap operas in a sense where they're all about drama. And there's no better drama on television right now than Yellowstone. But but there's a lot of drama around Yellowstone too right now, which for me as a fan of the series, it's kind of disappointing because I just want it to be back on. I want them to clean it up, finish it up, and go from there. But I love what they're doing with the prequels, though. Have you catch up on the prequels?
No, let's go back real quick to Yellowstone. I'm a Kevin Costner fan, dude.
Oh, dude. Yeah, hardcore.
Okay. All right, cool. So we're there. But see if you agree with me on this. Kevin Costner does an amazing job when he plays Kevin Costner.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like Nicolas Cage. Nicolas Cage does an amazing job at Nicolas Cage. You ever see that, what was it, The Amazing Talent of Overbearing something or another movie that he was in?
Yeah, dude,
He should have won an Oscar for his performance of himself.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's the greatest thing. And I think that Kevin Costner's a wonderful, disgruntled individual. He's almost like a Clint Eastwood. Like Clint Eastwood does great at Clint Eastwood.
Yep. And then during Yellowstone, like his little facial tics, like he communicates more non-verbally in Yellowstone than he does verbally. And of course, my favorite character is Rip. I mean, that's just that's a given.
Dude, if I could be like any character in the world that I can reincarnate into, it would be Rip, or it would be Jax from Sons of Anarchy. One of those two I'd be good with. Jax from Sons of Anarchy unfortunately has a terrible ending, and the dude's just shit on the entire series. But as far as like, you know, having everything at your fingertips, like Jax is cool. But Rip, dude, Beth, are you kidding me? Like Beth is fantastic. Like Beth scares me so much that I just cream in my pants.
I was just gonna say, get you hard, right?
Yeah, dude.
Just her attitude. She's a fucking bitch, and it's amazing.
I see.
Could you imagine the sex, dude?
Dog, be crazy, dude. She's the kind that would punch you when she comes, dude. Just straight up. She just punch you in the face. You're like, "Are you done?" And she's like, "Yep, thank you." And then like walks away. No kiss, no nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Yeah, but
go to fucking work. Why are you still here?
There's that meme that's on the internet though, and it says what I would give to see Beth on the View as a guest. Could you imagine? Could you imagine that shit? Wouldn't that be incredible?
Dude, that'd be the best ratings they've ever had.
Oh yeah, dude. Whoopi would be for a ratings blessing at that point. And candidly, I like Whoopi. I just don't agree with everything they talk about on the table. But you know, I'd love to see
drama,
that.
dude. That's all fucking.
Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah, 100%. But yeah, that'd be amazing. But yeah, no, we on the Bleach Bros podcast, this most recent episode that's coming out, we did Westerns. We talked our views of Westerns, and that was one of the things that I love about this platform is that it's all our view stuff. And for some reason, man, people listen to it and they're like, "Hey, I like what you guys have to say." And I'm like, "Really?" Because nobody else does.
Yeah,
like,
right?
If you met me in real life, you'd be like, "Who the fuck is this guy? And why is he talking?" And all of a sudden I put it up on Spotify or Spreaker or whatever, and it's like, "Oh, these guys are interesting." Okay. Yeah. Sounds good. Thank you.
Let's troll them and see what else you do.
Yeah, appreciate that.
Yeah, exactly. Now write a check.
Exactly.
Dude, the trip was good. You went down to the fucking Lone Star State.
No, we went to Arizona.
Oh, it was Arizona.
Yeah.
That's right. That was Arizona.
Yeah, so I'll tell you what, man, the whole podcast game has been fun because we've been able to meet collectively. We've been able to meet some really cool podcasters. And, you know, there's a whole lot of podcasters in the Midwest. It's almost like there's nothing but like church on Sundays, flat ground, and podcasting. And so unfortunately, I just haven't met a lot of them. But, you know, Jake, my co-host with the Bleach Bros podcast, he and I grew up in the Vagas area in Nevada. And we found some other podcasters that are in northern Arizona that we started, you know, we listened to their show, really liked them. They listened to our show, really, and then all of a sudden we started collaborating. And so we've been collaborating with these guys off and on for, I don't know, the better part of 2 years now, I guess, something like that. And we've met them independently, and we've had the ability to talk with them, and we're friends on social media and that sort of stuff. And all of a sudden, dude, we all got together in person, and it was exactly what you would expect. I mean, we shit on each other. We burned the place down. Like it was an amazing trip. And honestly, you know, when you get to that point in life where you're like, man, like something needs to happen. Like life is good, but something needs to happen. This was one of those trips where something needed to happen, where we needed to get out of the ordinary, where we just said, hey, we're going to rent an Airbnb. We're going to be in Glendale, Arizona. Let's go see the Cowboys game and the Cardinals game. Let's just have fun, get a whole bunch of bros together and just do the damn thing. And everybody said yes. And so we just went down there, dude.
And made it work schedule wise.
Yeah.
Holy
So
shit.
we just went down there. We enjoyed it. My Cowboys got shit on. You appreciate that, I know.
No, of course.
But yeah, so did everybody else too, because everybody else just is a fuck the Cowboys mood. But that's all right. I've grew up listening. I'm not an overnight fan, man. We're fine. We're fine. Maybe
Dude,
in 30 years we'll make a conference championship game.
Did you like that? How many times has somebody sent you that meme I sent you?
Dude, I've seen like every meme in the entire world about the Cowboys. The only thing that changes, like, what's so funny, and you're gonna have to remind me the specific one that it was, but like there's one that says I'm serving apple turnovers, but it's serving turnovers, and they just like put Dak's face on it or Romo's face on it or whatever.
I see that shit
like
all the time.
they just changed the face on it, and it makes sense. But which one did you send?
It says, I don't know why you're all mad at us Cowboy fans or the team. They ain't done nothing in 28 years.
That's true.
I was like, I gotta send this, and then I send you a video on top of that. I was like, oh shit, I didn't mean to send you the video either.
Yeah, and then I responded. The best part about that was the video. It's a video of your boy on a tire swing.
Yeah, dude, he was like, faster. I'm gonna go fast. My boy is all about speed, dude, and I'm good. Yes. He's like, I want to accelerate. Oh, first of all, where'd you learn the word accelerate?
Right.
You're 2.5. I didn't tell you accelerate.
Right.
But no, I'm glad he got down there, had a good time. I'm going to be in Scottsdale at the end of the month.
Oh, nice.
This episode will come out long after I'm down and back, but Grandma's down there. She does a timeshare thing, and she's got a crazy 27-star fucking fancy place that we're going to stay at.
Yeah. There you go.
But 25 minutes down the road is the casino.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, dude, yeah. I did my first sports betting while I was down there. I guess I can't say it was first because every once in a while I'll throw some cash down at the casino here, but casinos in Nevada are like potholes in New Jersey. Like,
oh yeah, sure,
they're all over the place, right?
Yeah,
So I don't go in them. We have restaurants that are outside of the hotels. I know specifically on the West Coast, you go to some of the bigger cities and you find a lot of the fancy restaurants are in hotels. But it's different here on the West Coast. But what I will say is that I really don't gamble at all unless it's tables, and even if so, that's just blackjack. But when we were down there, I got onto DraftKings. And I was like, okay, I'll put $50 in DraftKings, see what happens. And as a new person on DraftKings, they gave me $200 in free bets, and so the Cowboys were set to win by like 12 points. So I was like, okay, that's a solid bet. Cowboys are smoking right now; they're going to win. So let's put some money on them. Let's put money Tony Pollard on an anytime score. Let's put money on the Commanders to beat the Bills because at the time the Bills were shit in the bed. And I was like, okay, dude, I've got these picks and I got them solid. Dude, it was a fucking shit show. It was so much of a shit show that when we were in the stadium, my $9 that was left because I cashed out on some bets, I ended up throwing onto the Cardinals and just Cardinals as a win. And I ended up winning my money back. I ended up cashing out $49.60. And I was like, okay, I'm good now. So
shit.
Yeah.
Hey man, in Vegas, that's considered a win.
Yeah, I didn't lose anything. I mean, I lost 60 cents or 40 cents or whatever it was. But at the end of the day, man, I'm not really going to blink an eye at that.
No. The other thing, you're right in Vegas, right?
No, I'm actually in northern Nevada. So where Reno is, I'm right outside of Reno. So I'm right in between Reno and Lake Tahoe.
So Vegas's older sister. Did I ever tell you that scenario?
No.
Oh, dude. So Atlantic City, right?
Yeah.
All right. So Vegas is a young woman, fucking hot. Everything's in the right spot. No gravity. She hasn't met gravity yet.
Okay.
Nice fresh tattoo, lipstick, bright red, smells nice. The whole thing, right?
Okay.
Reno is her older sister.
Oh,
been around a little longer.
Yeah.
Little down the road.
Yeah.
Tattoos not right in the right spot. Gravity's been friends with her for a couple years, right? And then Atlantic City's their mom.
Yeah, I could see that.
So
I could see that.
That's
Yeah.
how I rate.
It's funny though, because I hate Las Vegas with a passion. So when you're sitting there telling me like all the good things about this hot little Betty, you know, I'm sitting there like, but yeah, she's got a burning cooch, man. Like Vegas sucks. Vegas sucks. She's a burner of a woman down there, you know. Like I actually call it the neon cat box because it's just, you know, it's just desolate, and then you have like these little piles of shit everywhere. But you know, Vegas is a maybe it's because I grew up around there, but Vegas is one of these places that, like, if I never saw it again, I'd be fine.
It'd be cool.
Yeah. But there's growing up there as a kid, I mean, they had some cool things. Like I remember when they were building Luxor, and the Luxor was just this badass building that they built, and all of a sudden you've got that skylight that goes straight from the top of the pyramid out to space, and supposedly you can see it from space and all these sort of things. Like there's some cool things that were there when I was a kid. They actually had a swimming park. I think it was called Wild Waters or Wild Island or something. But that was cool as a kid because it's so fucking hot down there, dude, that when you're able to actually like go to this water park, it was pretty cool. But then they ended up demolishing it so they could build a parking lot for a casino because, you know, kids didn't matter at the time, you know.
No, they don't. You don't spend enough money.
Yeah, but my daughter went down there. She went to UNLV, and so I went down there and visited her a few times. Of course, I have some buddies that live down there in the area, so I go down there. But it's not some place like I'm itching to go, if that makes sense, right?
Sure.
It's like LA. I've been to LA. I don't need to go to LA. San Francisco, same thing. I've been to San Francisco. I love San Francisco, but dude, it's so full of actual shit in the roads that I'm like, I don't have any desire to just wade through shit. Portland, same thing. Like those two towns are so beautiful, you know, San Francisco and Portland, that when you have literal shit in the road, I'm just like, I'm kind of over it, man. I'd much rather see an Austin, Texas, or a Denver, Colorado, or a Billings, Montana, like anywhere else but San Francisco or LA. And LA has so much homelessness right now. It's just incredible, dude.
Well,
like
Vegas too, right?
Well, dude, the West Coast. Like, let's not talk about one specific town. The entire West Coast, dude. Like, I remember going out and partying in my younger days. We'd go party in Reno, you know, and we'd go to the club and we'd walk from place to place and all these dive bars and whatever. And like, it wasn't a thing. Now you've got, you know, homeless everywhere, bro. And one of the big issues was, and this was years ago, and this might be a conspiracy theory. So if it is, it is. But there was talk that San Francisco was actually shipping their homeless out. And they were shipping them onto the Nevada border. And the closest place from San Francisco and the Nevada border was Reno. So a lot of them, if you have mental health, right, typically if a police officer gets involved or some type of social worker, more than likely they're going to commit you to a hospital. Well, the regional hospitals in Reno, so if you go, you know, from, you know, northern, like California, Nevada border, you're not going to Sacramento. It's too far away. So you're going to end up going to Reno. They'll care flight you to Reno. They'll ambulance you to Reno. The problem is when you have mental health issues like that and you get released, especially if you're homeless or you don't have anybody in your life, where are you going? You just end up walking out of the hospital and you figure out at the next bus stop. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like the whole bus stop and train station and everything where we live, dude, it's so full of homeless. It's unreal. It's unreal. And the fentanyl and everything else is just getting so bad, dude. It's sad. It's sad because I feel terrible for these people, but I also feel terrible for our communities because, you know, they're being wrecked and ravaged, dude. And it's just, it's not fun. It takes the joy and the beauty away from it all, you know? Like I remember walking down in San Francisco on the wharf, just beautiful, dude. I don't know if you ever had a chance to be there, but it's absolutely beautiful. And now it's so commercialized and it's so full of shit, literally. Like the last time I was in San Francisco, I look over and I'm on the road. Like I'm in a car on the road and I look over and some dude on the sidewalk just pulls his pants down and plops one out.
Fucking up. Yep.
I look and I went, what the fuck?
Well, he ain't got nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, you gotta go.
Then there's that story that the city of San Francisco was trying to build a toilet. Did you hear about that? They're trying to build like a community commode, and it was going to cost them like $7 million. Yeah, Yeah, because it was all the bureaucracy. Let me look this up because I'm gonna share this.
Oh, that was a while ago, wasn't it? That was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
I heard something about that where they're gonna, because of the contractors and all the
bureaucrats, dude. Yeah. It was crazy. 1.7 for one toilet. 1.7 mil for one toilet to put in a shitter that's nobody's gonna clean anyway.
Well, dude. All right, so I can put up with a lot, like a shitter.
Right.
Okay, so take a outside porta potty.
Yeah.
You know, you get in there and you're at a concert or you're at an event and it's 110 degrees out. It's just fucking disgusting, right?
Right.
No big deal. I go in there and do my thing and leave. Now, we have Port Authority in New York City.
Yeah.
All right. So down by the docks and all that shit. Well, when you get your car towed, it ends up down at Port Authority. Right? That's where the big police lot is. So when I had my video business, me and my partner, we're doing this video shoot over in New York City, and we park. We thought, of course, we were parked where we were supposed to be, and of course, we got fucking ticket, got towed. So I find out it's down at Port Authority. So she stays at the video shoot. I fucking walk down, and just kind of where we were is about 20-minute walk. So I'm like, no problem. I walk down, do my thing, pay for it, get all that. Everything's good. And the lady's like, it'll be a few minutes. And I'm like, all right, I got to take a piss. Dude, I walked in the bathroom. It was unbelievably disgusting.
Ugh.
It looked like somebody painted the walls with shit. Like the light switch had shit on it. The back of the toilet, the top of it, the walls had shit on it.
Like a dude just imploded?
Yeah, and like they smeared it.
Ugh.
And I'm like, and it takes a lot for me to gag, dude.
Yeah.
Smell wise, I can put up with just about anything. I was like, I turned around, I wouldn't even piss in there, dude. It was disgusting. Oh my God. But going back to Vegas, I used to go there talking. I want to tell you about San Francisco because I've been to the wharf and I've had the same experience you have. My wife, her dad lived in San Francisco. Her mom lived in San Diego. Okay. So we would fly out to San Francisco and then get some kind of transportation and go down the Pacific Coast Highway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So name it, dude. Convertible, Jeep, sports car, motorcycle, camper. We fucking done it all. Right. So go to San Francisco. My wife's like, we gotta go to the wharf. This is amazing, and all that. And her dad was still alive at the time. It was beautiful, dude. Absolutely beautiful. Great. We went over to Alcatraz, which was cool as shit because I love that kind of history, right?
Yeah.
And what was cool about Alcatraz, when we land, we get over there and we're listening. We didn't get a guided tour, but we're listening to the guy a little bit, as you're walking by. He goes, just so you know, Al Capone was not famous when he was here. He was just another fucking inmate. He was a number. Nobody knew who he was. Nobody cared who he was. Over history, they made him bigger than what he was at the time, right? I just thought that was cool. And then years later, we go back to the wharf, and I was like, we were there for maybe 20 minutes, and I'm like, all right, time to go. Fuck this. Yeah. It's disgusting, dude. Absolutely disgusting.
It's terrible, man. Yeah. It's terrible.
And then Vegas, I used to go, this fucking long time ago, I would go play cards, right? So I would land, all I'd have is my backpack. And I would go on the way to the casino, I'd have a taxi bring me from the airport, land on the strip. And I would get a 6-pack and a handle. And I would find a homeless person, those guys begging on the street and shit.
Yeah.
And I would talk to him for a minute and I'd pick one and I actually sit with him for half hour, 45 minutes, drink beer. And I would hold their sign up and talk to them. Cause I want to know how the fuck did you end up here, dude?
Right. Dude, people have so many stories on that.
Dude. And the
especially
comment
down there.
Yeah. The common, I mean, most of them are just like, blah, 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 and you're like, okay, well, all right, this is, but when you could actually speak to somebody and have a conversation with them, something made them snap. Their wife died in a car accident. They lost their job and couldn't support, and their wife died, and they just fucking snapped. And then it was downhill from there, and they end up on the street. So that was and of course it's all, as you mentioned before, it's mental illness.
Yeah, mental illness, drug use. There's a whole bunch of things that really lead to that. But, it's funny too, because you'll find homeless anywhere. Like I always thought that if I was a homeless person, I'd try to be homeless in Hawaii. Because the weather's like chill the entire year. You got this great beach. You've got all the shit. You know what I mean? You got the spam masubis. You got everything over there, right? Dude, there's. I mean, while there is homeless in Hawaii, there's not much.
Bullshit.
No, really? Because when I went over there wasn't a whole bunch.
Holy shit, dude! So I would go to Maui for 8 years. I would go to Maui every year for 2 weeks.
Okay,
with my ex-wife, and I wanted to go to Pearl Harbor.
Okay,
so a buddy of mine I was friends with him, still friends with him, but my wife and his wife been like childhood friends.
Okay,
so he's like, I'd love to see fucking Pearl Harbor. I go, let's jump a plane.
Yeah.
So we jump a plane, we go land over there. We land the night before. So we're like, hey man, let's just go downtown.
So you go Waikiki?
Yeah. So we just were like,
okay,
let's take a cab, because Uber wasn't around at that time.
Right.
Let's take a cab. As we're driving, dude, just stacked homeless. Now,
really?
What I thought was fucking intense, what was crazy, and it wasn't just one thing that I found. You know how an on-ramp, like to go over another highway, it gradually goes up, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So what they did was they built walls until it got 15, 20 feet tall. Then they capped it off at the end.
They did like a little enclosure for themselves.
And then there was multiple doors and people standing there like a fucking doorman.
No shit.
Dude, and that was like every on-ramp. Saw them multiple times, right? So we end up downtown at like a fucking TGIF or, some bullshit, main franchise. And I could see the homeless or whatever. So we go in there, we have a bunch of beers. We end up staying super late. I think we came out at like 1:30 in the morning. Dude, we had to step off the porch kind of thing of the restaurant, kind of scoot through the bushes, walk down the grass, and actually either walk in the grass or on the road itself with traffic, because the sidewalk was completely packed with homeless.
So full disclosure, when I was in Hawaii, I'm probably the only white dude that has gone to Hawaii and has never gotten a tan, because I was partying. You don't even get all red night, bro. Like I didn't see the sun. I didn't see the sun. So that being the case, I was also there with a big Mexican buddy of mine, and like he's a really big dude, and so they thought he was local, and so we got hooked up almost everywhere that we went. So full disclosure, I don't know that I guess it could have happened, but I didn't see it when we were there. But yeah, but that going back to the issue though, like I would want to live in a pretty cool climate. I don't want to be homeless in Alaska, and I also don't want to be homeless in Phoenix. You know what I mean? So there are some places where I think if I were homeless, I'd probably try to be in one place or over another. But yeah, it's weird, man. Like when I was working in Vegas, I was working for a bank, and I had just switched branches. Like I covered 5 different branches, and I just switched my office to one branch. And as I was at the branch, dude, I was in the Hispanic part of town, and I don't speak Spanish, at least not very well. And so they had actually hired a translator for me to actually work with me in my office. And I was like, hey, that's cool. So I'm sitting there in the office, and all of the tellers had the bandit barriers, right? So they all got that thick plastic or thick, whatever it is, in front of their teller windows, the thick glass. And so that way, if somebody starts shooting, it's bulletproof, right? So the robbery procedures back then, and I don't know if they're the same, so I'm just going to go ahead and say it, but the robbery procedures back then is if like somebody walked up to a teller window and they're like, hey, give me all your money or whatever their threat is, the teller is instructed to then drop down to the ground and yell, "We're being robbed." Which for me, on my side of things, I'm on the other side of the fucking barrier, right? And I'm also a fat guy, so like I'm this big target, and I'm not like a, not nothing against tellers, but I wasn't a teller, so I'm higher up on the pay scale, and the decision making and everything. So when a teller's going to yell, "Hey, we're being robbed," like who are they going to look at? What's going on, right?
Hey, buddy, come on over here.
Yeah. So my particular desk right behind me, there was a door that we'd have a courier come and pick up all the teller work and shit for the night. And there's a little square glass that looks outside the door. Well, my first day at this branch, there was actually a gang shooting right across the street. So there was it was a Hispanic guy and an Asian guy, and they got into it. And next thing you know, the Asian guy pulled a gun and shot the Mexican guy or Hispanic guy, whatever he was. So the cops were there the first day I was there. Like, it was taxing. I didn't see it, but because I was there, I had to, go through Las Vegas Metro and do the whole works, right? So, it is what it is. So the second day, I'm sitting at my desk, and the merchant teller comes over. And she walks over and she goes, I don't remember her name, but she goes, "Brian, I'm scared." I said, "Why?" And she goes, "I'm trying to go to lunch and I'm afraid to go outside." And I'm thinking, oh my God, there's another shooting. There's another something or another, right? And I said, "What's going on?" She goes, "Look out your window." So, fuck, there's another shooting. So I look out the window. I don't see police cars. I don't see traffic. I don't see anything. And I'm like, "What is going on?" She goes, "No, look down." So I get on my tippy toes and I just kind of do one of those and I look down. There is a bum going to town on himself. He is masturbating like it's his last day on earth, dude. He is touching every part of himself in a way that like I was jealous of, right? And I said, "Okay, I'll handle it." So I walk outside, I walk around the corner, and dude's got these sweatpants that are probably like 6 sizes too big. Like when he stands up, he has to hold them up. They're just falling down. He's got himself, well, at least he had 4. You remember those Mickeys? Those oh God, what were they? They were 40s, 40-ounce beers.
Yeah,
they were called Mickeys. He had 4 of those, 3 of which are empty. Okay, so dude's already feeling good.
Yeah, sure.
So I peek my head around the corner. I go, "Hey," and he looks and he goes, "What do you want?" And I said, "What are you doing?" He says, "I'm beating off." I said, "You got to do it somewhere else, bro." And he's like, "Or what?" And I said, "Or I got to call the cops." And he goes, "Fine." So he gets up, dude. You see his couple bottles. They roll off into the gutter, on the street. He picks up his sweatpants. He hard dick, the whole works, dude. He just like wraps his dick with the sweatpants, the excess that's there, and he just walks down. He plops himself down next to the next business. Well, I can't control that. So if dude's gonna scrub chubby over there, then he's gonna scrub chubby over there. But
amazing, dude.
But yeah, I just went crazy. I just went, holy story. Shit! And here's the thing, man. Like, dude was he was flexible, and he did things that I would have never thought of. Okay, so what? Like he was laying on his side, and he's doing everything with his left hand. And I'm like, okay, that's interesting. Side of sidewalk, summertime, whatever. Whatever. But then he's got his right leg lifted up, and it's like his knee is right by his head, and he's got his right arm underneath, and he's like tickling his taint. With his fingers, and then he's tickling his nuts, and he just goes between his nuts and his taint. And I'm looking at this going, dude, what are you doing, bro? Like, so that was fun.
On your first day, right?
That was my second day.
Wow. Yeah. First day was a shooting, right? Then the second day you got a guy fucking wrapped up like a pretzel with his taint,
dude. I'm telling you, man, like he was in love with himself. Like, I'll attest to that. So speaking of testifying to shit, okay, if you're ready for this, a few years back, probably 4-ish years ago now, I was working for an insurance company. All ladies work there. Okay, I was the only dude, and I'd park in one particular parking spot, like I do at every job. You just get in that routine.
Yeah, sure.
So I'd park at this parking spot. All the ladies would park like around the corner, except for one. And one of them that was pretty young, she'd park near me typically. But so I'm watching, and there's this in the parking lot that we're in. There's a fast food restaurant, and I'm watching these guys push this Ford Ranger that's got 3 flat tires from the fast food parking lot, up through the realty parking lot, and down into the insurance parking lot, right? And I'm watching this, and as they get closer, they're getting closer to my car, and I'm like, okay, this is going to drive me nuts. So at lunchtime, I go out, make sure that nothing's near my car. They park next to it, but nothing's near my car. Like, all right, we're good. So I go back into work, and it's 5 o'clock or whatever time it is, and I'm walking out to get into my car, and where my driver's side door is, because I back in, was where the driver's side door is on this Ford Ranger, right? So it's a single cab Ford Ranger. And so as I go to unlock my door, I look over in the other door. There's a dude laying down across the bench in the truck, right? Like I'm looking at the top of his head. And I'm like,
in the Ford Ranger. He's in the Ford Ranger.
He's in the Ford Ranger. So I look over and I look, and then dude is like beaten off, like his life depends on it. Like this dude's dick owes him money. Okay, this guy is just taking it out. And I just went, oh my God, all right. And so like I get in my vehicle and I pull out, and I'm like, man, I don't really like to judge the sex life of people. You know what I mean? If it's all about you and you're just trying to get off in a Ford Ranger, like at the end of the day, I don't care. But the fact that I work with a bunch of ladies, right? The
Imagine
fact that
one of them coming out.
Yes. If it was one of them and they're watching this, like I can't let you do that. So we ended up calling the police. Police come over, and of course he says he wasn't doing anything and whatever. So they take a file number, and then, he's got to go somewhere else. They, have to move his truck within a couple days or whatever the circumstance was. So they give him a ticket. Okay. Whatever the ticket was. He fights the ticket in court. Okay. So who do they have to call as the witness? Me.
No. So you have to go into court.
I got to go to the justice of the peace and testify to what I saw. Okay. Which shouldn't in theory be a bad thing. Like, yeah, this guy was beaten off in a cab of a truck, like whatever.
Okay.
Except for the fact that dude took his right to a free attorney, and he got an attorney, and the attorney's saying, so how long were you staring at his penis? Mind you, I'm on the record. Okay. I'm on the record with this. And he goes, so can you describe his penis? To the court, bro, to the court. And I'm like, so I look at the judge, and, for a couple of these, the judge is like, okay, enough of that line of questioning. But it was like, did you see and it wasn't like questions that I could like say yes or no without any implication of things. It was like, did you notice the 3 freckles on the shaft of my client's dick? Right. And it's like, if I said no, it means that yes, I was staring directly at your client's dick, studying it enough to know that there wasn't 3 freckles.
And if you said
right?
yes.
And then if I said yes, it meant I want to suck it, right? So I'm sitting here like, I'm like, what the fuck, man? So dude, I had to testify for an hour and a half on this guy's package. Hour and a half. And I know the judge, dude. I know the judge. Like I serve with the judge on a nonprofit, and I'm like,
that's
okay,
amazing, dude. That's a fucking great story.
So when the judge is like, weeks later, right? Weeks later, I look at the judge, and she looks at me, and she's like, "I'm sorry." And I'm like, "You couldn't have prevented some of those questions." And she goes, I had, I didn't want there to be some form of impropriety. So I was like, I get it. But yeah, so I mean, I testify to the way that he trims his nuts. I had to testify to the aesthetics of his penis. I had to testify if his penis was larger than his nutsack. I had to the types of questions that were there were also, did I think he was well endowed? Like, dude, this attorney, and God bless this attorney, because you know what, man? If I was fighting for a client, I'd have probably had the same line of questioning.
Yeah.
But thank God it was a dude that found this guy scrubbing chubby, and not one of my female coworkers. Because could you imagine an hour and a half on the stand with a female trying to describe this dude's package?
Well, but the thing is, though, like you said, if you said, yes, it's this big and it's this, and it's like, why are you staring at it? You'd be in trouble at that point too.
Or probably. God forbid, flaccid, he's like 4.5, and hard, he's like 7'2", and like I put out an incorrect measurement. Like at that point, does he get off? Like, literally, because he already got off physically. Yeah.
No pun intended.
Yeah.
No shit. That reminds me. Remember the Blue Collar Tour?
Oh yeah.
Remember those guys?
Yeah.
I saw those guys when they were just getting started, because when I was with Coca-Cola, we had access to all that stuff, right?
Yeah.
My position there and all that. And I remember Bill Engvall had the fucking best joke. He goes, all a man needs is sex, sleep, and food. And he goes, we can do all that by ourselves.
Yep.
in my truck in traffic. And I was like,
exactly.
I was like, well, he's not wrong.
That's true. That's true.
Dude, it's amazing. So Newark, I was in Newark, working in Newark at the time, and I had my rig pulled in into a parking spot because I work out of the back of it, right? So I don't back in, I pull in. Excuse me. My cough button's broken on my mixer. So I'm sitting there doing some paperwork and I got my lunch, right? And I see some movement in my mirror on my driver's side. This dude comes shuffling up real fast. And he whips his pants down, dude, squats in front of my truck, like in the corner, left corner, driver's side. Shits right in front of me as I'm trying to eat a chicken sandwich. And I was like,
God,
son of a bitch. All right, there goes that. I mean, hey, man, going back like you said, if you got to go, dude, I get it. You get desperate. I've been in some desperate situations and you go in some places that you probably shouldn't, but better than shitting your pants.
There's a couple times, dude, I've sneezed a little too hard that I thought I went. Thank God I didn't, but back to the whole Sandy Hut of it all. Like, of course, I grew up down in the Vegas area, and there used to be this thing out in Pahrump, Nevada. It's called the Harvest Festival. And the Harvest Festival is like a carnival, basically, and it's like a little, I don't know, probably like flea market type thing. And it happens once a year. And at the time, I was like 15, 16 years old, maybe. I don't even know if I was driving, but it was right around then. And my girlfriend at the time was, we were physical, so we were doing things that we weren't supposed to be doing at that age. And she's like, "Oh, I'm so in the mood." Well, I'm looking for anywhere and everywhere that we can do something. Finally talked her into going into a Sandy Hut with me. And it's August in Vegas in a Sandy Hut, and we're, I'm stuffing the pumpkin, you know what I mean? I'm ripping the guts out of it. And I've never sweated so much in my entire life, dude. And I sat there and I tried to be a champ, but between the smell and the heat and just the relative uncomfortability, I was like, I can't do this. And I think that she appreciated that. Like, I don't know why she even said yes, to be candid.
Hey,
like, that was one of those things that I was just like, of all the places, like, I mean, we could have went somewhere, you know what I mean? Like, we could have found something different, but of all the places, that was when nature called. And yeah, that was the most uncomfortable, like, slapping guts in my entire life. Cause I was, it was bad.
Man, I was traveling from Colorado to New York and I was dating this girl and, middle of the night, we're trying to make it in record time. So we're just hauling ass and she's like, I'm in the mood. And she's in the passenger seat. It's dark. We're going across Nevada, so you might as well be flying across space because there's just fucking nothing right
there.
And I'm like, we're not stopping because my 300 ring circus of an imagination is like the hills have eyes bullshit. Right. So I'm like, just keep going. So we're going down. I got cruise control, and she's fucking. By this time, she's naked in the passenger seat, and she's having a good time. And of course, she gets after me, climbs up on me, and I'm driving down the fucking road, looking over to the side. We're having a good time getting after it. Red, white, and blue lights, baby. Boop, boop, boop. And I was like, well, there's no reason for you to, he already sees you doing what we're doing, right?
Yeah.
So I pull over. She throws a sweater on, but stays on my lap, bro. And the cop comes up. He's like, sorry to interrupt, but you did cross the yellow line. You swerved. And I go, yeah. I go, my vision's impaired. He goes, y'all need to stop that. I'll turn my spotlight off. Why don't you get decent and move on? And I was like, good looking out, bro. Thanks. And he walked away. He was super cool about it. But going back to that, I work for U-Haul, right?
Yeah.
I was in working in Newark at the time. And one of my customers, most of my dealers were in just fucking shitty, bad neighborhoods. And I noticed he had a 10-foot truck going to Chicago, one way to Chicago. And I said, hey, the lady, I don't know what the deal is. She's coming to pick it up. Any problems, call me. So I see his, it was like 10 o'clock in the morning. I see him call me at like 10:15. I was like, fuck. He starts laughing right away. I go, what's the matter? He goes, well, what I'm about to tell you, if I didn't see it for myself, I wouldn't believe it. And if you don't believe me, that's fine, dude. But I'm going to tell you what happened. He goes, an Uber pulls up. This lady gets out of the Uber dressed to the nines. Looked like she owned a fucking multi-million-dollar company.
Okay.
$2,000 suitcase rolling, the four wheels.
Yeah.
On the phone the whole time. She goes, is this my truck? And I'm like, holy shit, she's going to drive the U-Haul truck, high heels and all that, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yes, ma'am. She goes, can you put my luggage in the back and strap it in while we do the paperwork? He's like, yeah, of course. He goes, well, I rolled up to the back of the truck and the tailgate was open a little bit. And in our business, that means in those neighborhoods, it means somebody's back there, right?
Okay. Yeah.
He goes, fuck it, I'm ripping the Band-Aid off. He goes, I whipped the door open and drug paraphernalia falls at our feet and some clothes fall at our feet. We look up and there's two naked homeless women just fucking getting after it in the 69 position, right?
Oh my God.
I go, fuck, this is going to be an issue with this. Oh my God, right? He's laughing, just hysterically laughing. I go, Alex was his name. I go, Alex, what's up? He goes, well, she just looked up from her phone for a half a second, glanced back at her phone, was texting, waved a finger and said, clean this up. I need to get going. And I was like, okay. So you got a fucking high dollar woman flew into Newark, Ubered over to pick up a U-Haul, has luggage, doesn't care about what's going on here because she's like, I need to get going. I go, damn, I wonder what was in that suitcase, bro.
It's the same thing that was in the suitcase in Pulp Fiction, dude. It's just that gold glow, bro.
Yeah, that's it. That's
they've got a new word for that 69 position for two women. You ever hear about it?
Oh God. Yeah, I've heard some version. What's
called two can chew?
Two can chew. All right, I like it. I heard what was it? God, I'll fuck it up. I'll think about it. It's like, what's 71 or what's 70? What ruins it is a butt in the back or a finger in the back or something. I can't remember. Anyway.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah,
dude.
dude.
You know what 6.9 is, right?
Is that might be it?
It's
what is it?
Good time ruined by a period.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's what it was. Thanks, man. Yeah. That's what it was. A good time ruined by a period. Dude, and then during the pandemic, Mac Tools, Snap-on and Mac Tools and all that. The Mac Tool guy had a truck similar to a UPS truck with a big door on the side.
Okay, yeah.
Right? He, in the middle of the pandemic, he rolls up to a stop light. Wasn't even a stop sign. Rolls up to a stop light. Bunch of guys run up, cut his seatbelt, throw him in the middle of the road and stole his whole fucking truck.
No shit.
He called because I roll around in a truck like that. He called me that afternoon, told me about it. He's like, be careful. I was like, fuck, dude, it got weird during the pandemic.
Wow.
Yeah. But
wow.
Yeah. So I find people all the time in the back of trucks, homeless people live in it, they steal it and they live in it and all that.
Yeah.
But that's just part of the gig.
The thing that freaks me out now on the back of U-Hauls is that they paint it to look like the door's fucking open.
Oh yeah. You look, see lamps and shit.
Yeah, bro. I was getting on the freeway and I'm looking. I'm like, oh fuck, that guy's. Oh fuck. Okay.
Nah, say you.
All right, we're good. It's like, yeah. At least do it looking like a cartoon or something. That was too real for me. Too real. I was getting ready to just slam on the brakes. I'm like, that couch is gonna come at me, bro. That's rough, dude.
Dude, I tell you, this business. I love the company itself is phenomenal. They treat their employees amazing. I enjoy working for them very much, and I enjoy my position. But I see the absolute worst of humanity. Yeah. The bottom of the barrel, dude. But on the other side of that, I see the absolute best of humanity.
Right.
So I have to go back and forth. And of course, the worst is the loudest. So that's what you quote unquote see most of the time, right?
Yeah.
Because if it's not an issue, you don't think about it. So when you really put your mind to it and think, hey man, I just dealt with, 600 people today, 598 of them were phenomenal.
Right.
And then you got 2 of them that are just off the walls. And then you think that everybody's like that. So I have to check myself and say, you know what? Not everybody's like that. That's not the norm. That's not humanity as a whole,
I think that's the case with everything though. Because we look at the political spectrum now, like one person on a specific party defines the whole party. It doesn't matter who the person or the party is.
Right.
But the other thing happens, corruption doesn't have a label. You know what I mean? So it doesn't matter if it's wearing a blue coat or a red coat or a green coat or a purple coat or a tie-dye coat or whatever. So, but that being said, man, in every industry, in every community, you have the people that demand. And typically after enough demands or after enough squeaks, that wheel's going to get the grease. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so it's a learned behavior. It sucks and it's terrible because I feel like we spend a lot of time talking about shit that we shouldn't really talk about, or at least shouldn't dominate our lives. Not that we can't have a conversation about it, but
right.
That's the case of society right now.
Well, and I think that's human behavior in general, right? I mean, through humanity, when the first caveman kicked the other caveman in the shin, it started to be learned behavior. How do I get over on this guy and how do I benefit? Even if I fuck over that guy, I still make it. It's never going to change, dude. It'll never change.
Lately, I've been thinking a lot about animalistic tendencies and I don't know why I've been thinking about this, but as an example, just there were points in my life where I knew I absolutely had to have something, whatever that something was. And how consuming that was when I focused on the want, or the greed or the lust or whatever it was. And it was just this, for a person looking back, I'm going to say fantastic, not in the sense that it was good, but just this awe-inspiring type of urge or rage or whatever the feeling was when you're acting on animalistic stuff. So every day I come home and I play with my dog, right? And he's got this squeaky toy that he absolutely loves. And so I'll squeak it and then I'll throw it and I'll fake like I'm going to throw it whenever my dog goes fucking ape shit. Absolutely ape shit. But it makes me think in the early days of humanity, when we wanted something or needed something, we act just like my dog. Oh. We got violent, we got rageful, we got, greedy, we got jealous, we got all those things, right? And somehow we've moved or evolved out of those with better communication, potentially, right? I mean, we can communicate better now than, let's say, cavemen could. Right. But there's still that animalistic tendency in us, you know what I mean? If I said somebody was going to hurt your son, the first thing that you're going to do is you're going to go, oh, fuck, no, and you're going to go rageful, right?
Oh, of course.
As you should. But it's when we're looking at society, there's circumstances, and I probably couldn't point one out right now, but there's circumstances where I feel like in society we get that animalistic tendency where we hate somebody so much, or we loathe somebody so much, or we dislike somebody so much that it doesn't matter how much good they're saying or doing in that matter, that we're going to shit on it, and we're just going to be like, nope. And case in point is a bad example. Case in point, I'm a Dallas Cowboys fan. Everybody hates the Dallas Cowboys. So I have a hard time watching football with people because the whole time I'm trying to watch my team, I'm getting shit on.
Shit on.
Yeah. And so it's this counterpoint, right? But I also appreciate it because when teams that I hate are losing, I will shit on them like they've never seen shit in their entire life. But it's this animalistic type tendency that I'm talking about that I think is still very active in society. That's not even in sports per se, but just in people. If you go out, it's like keeping up with the Joneses mentality, but it's like keeping up with the Joneses on steroids. I'm not going to keep up with the Joneses. I want what the Joneses want. You know what I mean? I'm going to go get it in whatever means necessary.
No, my opinion I agree with you. And I believe where that stems from is not being happy in their own life.
Yeah. And not being disciplined.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, discipline is, I think, a lost art for most people, right? Because, but I think if somebody's unhappy, right? Look at trolls on the internet.
Yep.
You put a post up, somebody's actually going to take the fucking time, to get on there and hate on you?
Yep.
What? Like you ain't got nothing else to do?
Right.
I mean, that's a very small example, but take that with, you use the Cowboys, but take that with the neighbor down the street. He rolls up in a nice car.
Yeah.
Do I go, well, fuck, what the fuck is that? Or do I go, oh, maybe he worked really hard for it and that's cool. That's what he spends his money on, or he's 10 times upside down on it. I don't fucking care. Me personally, I don't give a shit. Have I been like that in the past? Absolutely. But I've matured and grown up and done my thing, right?
And like you, I root for more people than I do try to root against them. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I have some friends and I consider them great friends. But the moment somebody does something to better themselves, they have to shit on it. And it's not like saying, oh, well, that's just a poor decision.
Yeah, but that's insecurity on their part.
Right. But it's something like, as an example, I don't know. Somebody buys a new car or whatever. It's like, oh, well, why didn't you buy that car? There's always something, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that's a terrible, personality trait, but it is what it is, man. It's in society. And it's one of those things that I think you said it best, where if you're satisfied with your life, like you don't have to have everything to be satisfied. Right? Like you said, like you were saying with Bill Engvall, you have to have food, you have to have sex, you have to have sleep. On a comedic standpoint, yeah, that's probably true. On a personal standpoint,
it's not far off.
It's not that far off, but I think as men, we have to feel loved, we have to feel wanted, and we have to feel needed, right? And those three things for us are huge motivators in a sense where when we feel wanted, we feel needed, and we feel loved, we'll set fire to the earth if that's what it takes.
Oh, it's scorched earth, bro.
And that's the thing. Like men, especially with mental health, and I'm like a huge advocate for this for men.
Same here.
It's very important that you check yourself and you make sure that you're good, because sometimes, like when somebody's shitting on you, even if it's in a playful way, if you're taking that to a point where you're feeling victimized by it, maybe you're not good. You know what I mean? And like, should the other person be shitting on you? Yeah, maybe not. But if you're getting to a point where you're like legitimately questioning things, you have to get yourself checked. You have to get back to neutral. You have to make sure that you're good, because we face so much adversity in life, whether it be with our jobs, other relationships, even your immediate relationship, parenting, money, the whole works, right? So with all of those challenges for men specifically, and this can be the same for women, but I can't speak on behalf of women. For men specifically, we're made to slay dragons, right? Like that's, you look throughout all of society, we were always these warriors, these Vikings, these, people that would have to go and slay, right?
Keep the evil away.
Exactly. And then we get into the point where we as men become more vulnerable. And I think vulnerability is a great thing. I think that you can see that generation over generation, where you had the silent generation and then the baby boomers and then Gen X and then all this sort of stuff. And you can see the relationships between, let's say, father and son become a little bit more productive through each one of those generations, because it's not as hard. It's not as dictatorship. There's more of a relationship through those. And I'm not shitting on the lost generation. I'm not shitting on baby boomers. But what I am saying is that the maturity of a man has gone more with vulnerability. Like men have chosen to be more vulnerable nowadays, and I think that's very important. I think it's a good thing, but I think that vulnerability opens up to some places in your armor that you might not have protection.
Well, I was gonna say some chinks in the armor happen.
Yeah, like and so you're gonna find that somebody's gonna stab you in the armpit one day, and you're gonna be like, "Oh, I didn't like how that felt," And you have to gird up and you have to protect yourself. And I don't think that you have to be closed off to society, but I do think as men, metaphorically, we have to sit back and we have to say, are we good? And I think that's really good. And I think it's important to have some sort of counterpoint in another person, whether it be a spouse or a best friend or whatever that might be, to say, I'm not doing very well today. And have that comfortability to go to them and to listen, and for them to listen to you without judgment. I think that's huge.
Well, I'm gonna jump in real quick, because that's exactly what happened to me last night. Some things happened to me during the day yesterday. We won't get into all the details. And at dinner, I looked at my wife and I said, listen, this is where I'm at. And once we put our son to bed and stuff, we had a conversation about it, and it felt great, dude, for me to talk to her about it. And you gotta, that's like that fucking old joke. I mean, it's not a joke, but it's like, where do men go to talk about their problems? And somebody replied to it. And it's like, nowhere, dude. You stomp it down and you die at 40 at a cardiac arrest like a real man.
Yeah.
That you can't do that anymore.
But it's the sad part too. Like, and I said I can't speak on behalf of women, and I really can't because I'm not a woman. But even if you look at statistics, the biggest killer of women is heart attacks.
Stress.
And it's all due to stress. And like, I work with a bunch of women, dude, and I see, like, I work with one woman specifically who she's nervous the entire day. Like, it's almost like a beaten cat. You know what I mean? She shakes, and it's not it's not like a tick. I think that she's just always nervous, and I don't know her background, so I don't want to speak to any of that, but I'm just telling you what I observe. But I look at this and I go, and maybe I'm a traditionalist and maybe I'm part of that quote unquote patriarchy and whatever, but I think that there's a part for men and a part for women in life, and I think that they're better as partners. I don't think that they're better as equals, and I don't mean equals and as an equal rights. And I think that men need to go and slay. I don't think that women need to go and slay. I think that women are better in the house than the men are, and that's not me saying that the woman's job is in the kitchen. Like, I'm not saying any of that by saying this. I'm just saying that that's where they succeed. You know what I mean? That's where they don't struggle as much. And as a partner with a husband and wife or boyfriend, girlfriend, or fiancés or whatever, it's good to be able to pick up where the other one's leaving off and to be able to together make that circle protected, if you will, because I feel like in society right now, the divorce rate is up, the body counts are up on both men and women, meaning sexual partners.
Holy cow, we get into that.
Yeah, you're dealing with a whole bunch of insecurities with society, which is teaching the next generation that it's okay, and it's fundamentally changing what that patriarchy was good for. And like I said, maybe I am part of that patriarchy that people hate, but I don't think that I hate it. And the reason why I don't think that I hate it is, and I'm not sure if people are religious, and I'm not all that religious either, but there's a part in the Bible that talks about the hierarchy of the household, and like, there's God, then there's the man, then there's the woman, then there's the children, right? Now, a lot of people will argue, oh, well, that's just saying that the men control the women. Like, I don't see it that way. I see that men are quote unquote head of household, meaning that if somebody's going to go kick somebody's ass in the house, they're not going to go drag the mom out by their hair and kick the mom's ass if the dad's there.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a target in that house. The dude who mows the lawn is the dude that's going to be punched, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not saying it in a worthwhile or a value way here, but what I am saying is that I do think that there's a point to that, meaning that we as men are protectors. We're warriors, right? We understand what it's like to be shot at. Metaphorically, we understand what it's like to be stabbed metaphorically. We understand all these things because we're being girded up in battle, right? Right. But we as men are also taught to protect women. That's why men walk on the outside of the sidewalk. That's why men open the doors. That's why, the chivalry of it all. There's a reason why chivalry is a thing.
What? That's not toxic masculinity?
Well, that's what it's defined as
what
now.
A joke, dude.
But that's why we're protected, right? I think also biblically, the metaphor of Adam's rib going into Eve is the perfect analogy, if you will, for men and women. And the reason why I think that is because out of all the body parts that you could have chosen to take from a man to give to a woman, it wasn't his penis, it wasn't genitals, it wasn't his brain, meaning that he didn't get a lobotomy and give her the brain. It wasn't his pinky toe that he's going to fucking jam into something 12 times a year. It's right under the arm, right? Your arm protects the rib cage, and it's the rib cage, meaning that it's literally on your side. So it is an equal part. You are basically saying, here is a piece of me that is protected, that I'm going to then gird up, that I'm going to treat you like an equal, and you're not going to be in front of me, you're not going to be behind me, you're not going to be above me, and you're not going to be below me. You're going to be to my side, meaning you are an equal. So I think that as we go through, some of these scenarios, and again, like, I'm not trying to preach religion here. If you have a religious foundation, great, I totally accept that, but the imagery that comes from this is actually pretty foundational, if you want to call it that. I think that men and women are equals, but I think that men do a much better job in total. I'm not saying that some broad out there is not doing a great job at, climbing trees and cutting them down.
Right.
I think that women do a better job at teaching children the fundamentals of vulnerability and teaching them educational things than men do. Mm-hmm. And it's not to say that men can't do it. And it's not to say that women can't cut trees down or do whatever they're going to do. I just think that it's a better partnership if you're able to have that opposites attract and then lead the household that way.
Well, the way well said, and the way we look at that, go back to a decade ago when we got married. My vows, because I can't live without you. You complete me. Gag. Get the fuck out of here.
Right.
I said that in 4th grade. But in my vows in the wedding, because before we got married, I'm working on my vows in my head and scratching notes and doing all that. I was at the doctor's office and this kid was putting a puzzle together.
Right.
I was like, what a great analogy. Right? That's a piece that helps complete my world.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You add to my world. You don't complete me. And I said that in my vows. I said it wasn't like this whole puzzle was put together and there's one little piece and we put it in there and oh fucking sunshine. No, my puzzle is nowhere near completed. But guess what? That piece sits next to me and we're a partner. We're a partnership.
Yeah.
Mel and I talk about that all the time. We're a partnership.
Yep.
And we do this 100% thing. We talk about it every once in a while. It's just so ingrained with us now we don't have to speak about it. But, I'll come home and be like, I'm being really dramatic to get the point across. I'll come home. I don't fucking feel like doing nothing. This is bullshit. I'm not in the mood. Bam. I'm at 20%. She goes to 80%. It's not 50-50. She goes to 80%. For 3 days this week, she's at work until super late. So now I'm at 90% in the household. I'm talking household, not work and all that. Right. Now I'm at 90% for these days. So no matter what, we complete 100% each day. One might be 80, 70, 30, 40, 60, whatever percent. But it's not, well, I don't do that.
Yeah.
That's your job. Get the fuck out of here.
I like that. I like that analogy. I've heard it a little different, and not to say that I'm going to discount yours in any way because I think it's great, but the one that I've heard I really swear by, and it's give 100% of what you can.
Absolutely. Yeah, same.
And it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same thing. But if all you can give is 20%, then give your 20%.
But that 20% is 100% of what I got right now.
Exactly. And that's why I said I think they're very similar. I'm actually heading to Florida next weekend, and I'm officiating a wedding down in the Keys.
That's all.
And this will be the second.
Oh my God!
Yeah,
Key West.
Yeah. Well, I'll be in Isla Mirada. It's going to be my first time there, so I'm looking forward to it. But yeah. So long story short, this is the third wedding that I've officiated. And I've only done it for friends, but one of the things, and I don't think that she's going to listen to this, and even if so, she's going to be married by the time it's done. But one of the things that I'm going to try to do, and it's hard when the wedding's not local, I typically do this sand analogy, and I do it with physical sand, where you have the different colors. But I like to switch it up a little bit because normally most people just like pour different colors of sand in a little vase or whatever, and then now your lives are together. I like to put decorative rock in there, so like those polished up little pebbles or whatever, and those are all of the things that you've gone through life. So you're the sand, but these are all the things. And so she has a child from a previous relationship. They have a child together, and now they're coming together as a family. There's going to be 4 different types of sand. But for these 2 pebbles are going to be past relationships. They're going to be past experiences. They're going to be all these things. And as you combine those in there, that pebble might look out of place initially. But once you pour all the sand in there and you see those pebbles, you're like, wow, look what we created. You know, now you got this big thing. So I'm going to try to do that. It's all about if I can get it all shipped over there, if I can find something there local to buy it all. But typically when I officiate a wedding, I like to do that because it's a physical representation of a metaphorical thing. And I think that that's cool. But one of the things that I also like to end on too, when I do officiant or when I officiate weddings, which is very rare, is I like to come up with an original quote of some kind.
Mm-hmm.
So it's something that I just kind of have to take off of my sleeve or whatever. And it might be something that I've thought about or that I've, listened to or whatever. And somebody said something and then I modify it or whatever. But the one thing that I heard was something about, the amount of love that one person can love. And so for them, one of my send-offs, I have 3 send-offs for them, but one of my send-offs is, may 100 hearts be too little for you two to carry love with.
Wait a minute, hold on, back up. May what?
Well, here, let me actually read it because I may have just butchered it right there. But it says, hold on just a second, Trey, here. It says, so here's my total send-off. So once in a while, right in the middle of an ordinary life, love gives us a fairy tale. Embrace it. May 100 hearts or may 100 hearts be too few to carry your love for one another. And remember, a successful marriage requires falling in love with the same person over and over.
Oh,
so those
absolutely.
are my 3 send-offs.
So the 100 hearts represents falling in love with them over and over?
Well, it's basically that their love exceeds the capacity of 100 hearts.
Oh, okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
I get that. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I'm big softy when it comes to that. And you ever have talked with people about spirit animals? You ever do that?
No, because every time I start to talk with somebody about animals, it comes up as me being a bear, and I'm not gay, and I'm not a bear. So
you'd be good in the gay community, bro.
I'm sure I would.
Dude, I got
an office mate who's a lesbian, and she thinks that I would just make the greatest bear. Like people would.
Dude, we got a bunch of gay friends, dudes, and they're like, hey, and I'm a motorcyclist at heart, dude. It runs thick in my blood. And we had this big Halloween party years ago. I was like, fuck it, man. I'm just going to put all my riding gear on. I had jeans and the chain-driven wallet, and I have a fucking vest, and I wore a hoodie under it,
Yeah.
And boots and all that. And I had this little train conductor hat.
Yeah.
That I used to wear because I wouldn't wear a helmet because in Colorado you didn't have to wear a helmet. So I wear this little train conductor hat, my sunglasses, and had a big burly beard and all that bullshit, And I walked in this party, and this fucking Michael's his name. He looked at me, and he fucking picks up this paper, and he's like, "Oh, whoa, man, you can't be here all night like that. Oh my god."
Yeah.
So I know how you feel, dude. I'm a hit in the gay community, but the thing is, with spirit animals, you can't give your own animal. Like somebody's got to give it to you.
Gotcha.
Right. That's the whole deal behind it. Right. So years ago, we were talking about, of course, I was a lot bigger then on the muscle side. I wasn't fat. I was bigger on the muscle side. And my wife's like, well, bear, because one, you're extremely loving and caring for the family and the unit and all this, but you can be extremely violent.
Right.
Right. And of course, you're big. Right. I'm like, all right, I get it, because I'm with you. That's the first thing everybody says, bear. All right, whatever. Okay. And somebody says, what about you, with Val? And I said, oh, that's easy. That's a dolphin. And she goes, well, how do you come up with that? And my wife, there is 2 places I lose my wife. Anytime we go to the open water, gone, swimming. And okay, yep, see ya. Go to a wedding, as soon as the music starts,
dance floor.
Yep. If I want to see her, I go to the dance floor. No problem. Right. So I said, dolphin, easy. And my wife at the time, she goes, well, because I love water. And I go, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, that's part of it. She goes, what's the other part? I go, people are just happy when they're around you. You just make people happy when they're around you. And she's like, whoa.
Oh,
So
got a little foggy right there.
yeah. And part of my vows, I said, you walk around in your own ray of sunshine.
That's good.
That's a good way to describe my wife.
That's
But
good.
you got to have it's got to be a partnership, dude. There can't be like a dictatorship.
That's true. That's
Yeah,
true.
you can't. That might, but the thing is, though, dude, that might work with some people.
Some people like that. And honestly, I'm not a judge of people's relationships. Like,
No, you got to work that shit out myself.
When it comes to like the gay community, as an example, or the, whatever you want to call the community, the all the letters that they use.
There's a number in there too now. Do you know?
And a plus sign.
Yeah, there's a number 2 in there.
Yeah, 2S LGBTQ plus something, maybe I think. Regardless.
Did you get a niner? Did you get a niner?
They're not the 49ers. That's all I care about. But long story short, I don't judge when it comes to that. I know that there's a lot of people who have a lot of opinions, but I think that love is love, and wherever you can find love is great as long as you're happy.
Yep.
I'm not gay, so I'm not going to find it there, which is unfortunate because it takes half the world out of my chances. You know what I mean? But long story short, people can do what they do. I just think that it's important that people are respectable humans. I think that as you boil it down, are you a respectable human? And it's funny because I struggle with my faith. I've been on that. I've been honest about that, and all of that sort of stuff. That's why I don't preach it. You know what I mean, or try to preach it. And I was talking with a pastor years ago, and we were talking philosophical things, And one of the things that came up was gay marriage, and I'm like, so where do you stand on that? And he says, here's the thing. He says, as a pastor, it's my job to preach what the Word of God says. It is not my job to make people feel inadequate. And he says, it is my job to love them. And I think that that's probably the best message that comes from any religion, where you can say, if your religion is love, meaning that you just love people for being people, I don't know that you can go wrong in that. I don't think that you have to be manipulative or like, some of those things that can potentially come out of religions. But I think that if you just genuinely love people, I think that's awesome. And, I'm not sure that the modern church today would know what Jesus looked like if he were to walk in. You know what I mean? And separately from that, when he was on this earth, all of the text says that he was with the lepers and the whores, and he was with the homeless, man. He was just he was like you with a backpack in Vegas holding a sign, just trying to
chilling.
Yeah, just trying to get a story. And I think that that's important because that reflects more on character than it does on preaching from a text. And I think the character of a man is the most defining part. And I think that's where I'm not ashamed of the patriarchy of it all, is because I think that men, if done right, whether you're gay, whether you're heterosexual, whether you're whatever that pansexual thing is or whatever, men, if you're the head of the household and you act respectably to the person that you love and you cater to them, and that's hopefully reciprocated, then that's what I think that should look like. And I think that that's important. I think in the bedroom you can role play, you could do different things, you could do whatever you want to do.
Sure.
You could wear your little, as a matter of fact, next time I find a little railroad hat, I'm going to wear that thinking of you.
Oh, so, dude, hey man. Hey, whatever I can do for you, bro. Yeah. Whatever I can do for you.
But we had an episode on Bleach Bros podcast that came out, and it was talking about some of our gay experiences, meaning that, where we've been in gay clubs or whatever. And I don't remember what it was called. I think it was something about B-word and a bear. It was probably within our first 10 episodes. And we have a listener who is roaring gay as a bear, and he loves my voice, and he has sent messages that are very inappropriate about all the things that he would like to do to me, talking to me about how he started watching Disney porn because he likes my voice and all these sort of things, right? So like I've learned a lot. But his name is Robert, so we call him Robert the Bear. And for a couple episodes, we actually had a segment where he would review our episodes for us. So he would send a message to Jake, because that's who knows him, and then Jake would forward me the message, and I'd edit it and stick it into the episode, and then that tapered off. But we still have a Discord, and he'll hop in the Discord, and he's just like, I love me some B-word, but now he's found Gnome from the Dads on Dayquil, and he's all about Gnome
that
now.
No, so. Good, yeah. But it's along. Yeah,
but it's like, whatever, man. Like, love who you're gonna love and do all that sort of shit. But yeah, Robert the Bear, he's funny, man. He is just hilarious. But yeah, sometimes a little uncomfortable. But it is what it is.
My mass experience with gay dudes mostly. That came out way wrong. This could be edited in a bad way, bro.
No, leave it in. Leave it in.
Exactly. So again, we would go to Maui all the time, right?
Yeah.
And now when you're in Maui, you dress pretty nice and you do your thing.
Right.
And we go down to Key West for a wedding. I'm
Okay.
like, look, yeah, let's go. We land and I saw a dude ride by on a beach cruiser in a yellow banana hammock and a sleeveless red and black flannel shirt open, and he was fucking just loving life. And I'm like,
you mean to tell me you saw Hulk Hogan down there, bro?
yeah, right. And I go, this is amazing, right?
Yeah.
But I had no idea how big the gay community was down there.
My aunt and uncle been telling me that they said that I'm going to love it down there because the one thing that they said, and the one thing I'm looking forward to be honest with you, is that there's no judgment, meaning that there's not there's you're sitting next to somebody and there's no like, oh, you're this or oh, you're that or oh, you think this way. It's just this one big community.
They don't give a fuck. In my experience, they don't give a shit, dude. So of course we start going out as a bachelor party. Fucking 15 of us or something, right?
Yeah.
This one guy was so homophobic. We go, and again, even at this point, I'm barbecued. I still have no idea. I think we're just going out to like all these tourist attractions. I have no idea what we're about to walk into.
Yeah.
So we walk into this bar, dude. Drag queen galore. Every fucking all the bartenders are drag queens, and they're taking a turn, passing the mic around. They get up on the bar and sing karaoke tunes and doing all this shit, right? And I'm like, it's fucking amazing. That's a fucking dude. Wait a minute. What? And my buddy's like, yeah, dude, the scene down here. And I'm like, I don't give a shit. Cool. We're all here to have a good time,
man.
Dude. And what you said is true. There is no judgment. As long as you're cool and drinking and having a good, and there we had some guys in the crew that were sober. So, but they were just having a good time. But this one dude shaking violently. He was so homophobic. Really? And I was like, what is the problem, dude?
See, I don't understand how you can hate a segment of people.
Something. Right. Exactly. So, what that all boils down to, and then when I got uncomfortable, when I was working the door at a big nightclub, there was a gay club not too far.
Yeah.
And they would shut down early and everybody would come over to the club.
Right.
Never fucking a problem. They're always a good time, spend a lot of money. And this one dude walks up, grabs I'm at the door, walks up, grabs my ass. He's like, I like you, and, talking shit. And I go, now listen, bud, we're all cool here, but you can't go around touching people without permission.
Yeah.
That ain't cool, especially me. Don't fucking do it again. He does it again. I said, listen, if you do it again without warning, I'm going to break your fucking nose. Right? And he's like, gets all happy about it. Does it? I fucking throw him a left hook. His nose explodes. I end up in jail for the night. But it was all good, nothing. But I'm like, no, dude, see, you have to act appropriate as well.
Yeah.
You have to respect my
ways.
Boundaries. Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. So it was so much fun in Key West, dude. It was amazing. And we have a ton of gay friends. They don't give shit. My nephew's gay. Dude, if you're happy. Yeah. So the way I look at it is the way I grew up, a compliment would be that dude pulls his own weight, which means you work hard, you respect people, right? That's kind of like an all-encompass thing. So the way I look at it is you pull your own weight and you treat people nice, you should treat the janitor the same as the CEO.
Exactly.
You don't hurt children. If you hurt children, you belong in the fucking wood chipper. Other than that, I don't give a shit. Do whatever you want to do. You want to role play in the bedroom? You want to walk around in a dress? You want to walk around dressed whatever? You want to walk around acting like a fucking bird? I don't give a fuck, dude.
Yeah.
If that makes you happy, cool. That's what's great about this country. And good for you, dude. But real quick, going back to your religion, right? Your religion says you can't do certain things. Your religion doesn't mean I can't do those things. Mm-hmm. Take that with all these people, with all this new shit, whatever comes up, whatever fucking flavor the day is. Dude, I don't care. Yeah. Are you hurting anybody? No. but don't get mad at me if I don't believe in what you're doing or I don't agree with what you're doing. Don't get mad at me for that.
Like when I was growing up, there was a couple people like when we were in school and stuff that I thought, well, that person's probably gay, like, but they were closeted. They couldn't come out, and all of a sudden they came out. And dude, it's like it's the difference between a caterpillar and a fucking butterfly, dude.
Absolutely.
It is like it's night and day. But the point is like I remember growing up and thinking like, because I was conditioned. I was like, if you have a gay child, like I'm not gonna have a gay child, right?
Yeah, sure.
But
beat it out of them.
But dude, if I have one kid, she's straight, she's heterosexual. But if she was gay, I'd love her just as much.
Wow.
You know what I mean? Like there's no problem. Like I have a relative who's gay. And I'm not going to say the relative in case they watch this because I don't know that they've quite outed themselves yet. But and their dad disowned him, and I just don't comprehend that. I don't comprehend that at all because I love my kids so much that there's like I would struggle if she murdered somebody to be mad at her. Like I would be mad at what she did. You know what I mean? But I don't know that I would ever be so mad that I'd disown her, kind of thing. But I don't understand how when you have a child who ends up growing up and has these feelings and these life decisions this way, again, they're not hurting anybody. They're not a child molester. They're not this and that. How do you disown your child? Like, I don't understand that. I something, again, going back to the manhood of it, that's toxic masculinity to me, is if you're a father and you're disowning your kid for that.
100%.
I think again, going back to the picture of it, it's God, you, your wife, kids. I think you have to protect all of them. Your kids have to be safe enough to know that they can be themselves without rejection.
100%. I even talked to my son, he's 2.5. Hey buddy, you can come to me with anything. I'm not going to be mad at you. You're a safe spot, dude. Mm-hmm. And I have a nephew. He come out. He's gay, right? And like you said, caterpillar, butterfly. It was just totally different. And as long as you're happy, buddy, that's all. I just tell my son, as long as you're happy. If you're happy spooning with another man and making out with another dude, get after it. If that makes you feel good, dude.
Yeah,
I'm your biggest cheerleader.
Yeah,
what difference does it make? No. I just don't but that's just, I guess, times change, right? And I still think that people run into that. Again, we have a lot of gay friends, and they just run 100%. Into all sorts of crazy shit. But yeah, dude, it's a good time, my friend.
Yeah, time number 2, man. This was awesome.
I could sit here and fucking chat with you for God knows how long. So, but we're going to shut it down. Take the mic over for a few minutes, man. Let us know, let everybody know what's going on with you.
Yeah, man. So, season 2 of Unfiltered Discussions, which is where I met Walt here, is off and running. Check it out, Unfiltered Discussions Pod. You can find me on unfiltereddiscussionspodcast.com. It's got links to all of my websites or socials and episodes. You can listen to them right on there if you want. Also, co-host of the Bleach Brothers podcast. We're currently doing a number of different things, but the big thing that we started in August was our top 50 movie countdown, which will wrap up in December. So if you're a fan of movies and a fan of some buddy banter going back and forth, we're doing that. Third week of every month is our countdown. The lists are locked in. We cannot change them, so it's fun. It's fun going back and forth. But we do a lot of different things. Some comedy. We do some mental health stuff. We do music. At the end of the year, we'll have our everlasting jukebox of 2023 to go through all the best albums of the year. So I mean, we're just kind of all over the place. And then of course for football season, we'll have a Super Bowl show. Typically comes out to right around 3 hours, but that'll come out in late January, early February. But check us out on socials there, Bleach Bros Pod. Go to bleachbros.com. All of our info's on there. So yeah, just thanks for having me. And of course, you can follow us on all socials. And if you like our stuff, subscribe, give us a review. We do have a Patreon, but I won't shove it down your throat. So if you're interested, it's there.
Check it out.
Otherwise, enjoy the free content.
I was on Bleach Brothers, and both Unfiltered and Bleach Brothers. Unfiltered is a lot of fun. It's kind of same format you're listening to here. But Bleach Brothers, man, that was a damn good time. I enjoy that content as well, man.
Yeah.
The comedy and
we got to get you to get
back
Jake
and
on,
forth.
man. You guys will have a good conversation.
I got a list here. I got, how shit goes, dude. Keep up on it. But thanks for coming on, bro.
Yeah, thanks,
I'll yell at you.
Appreciate it.
All right, man. So how would you like to be in court to describe something like that, right? Crazy. And that was his second day on the job. But I also truly enjoy talking with Brian about the serious issues around mental health and being parents and what the world is nowadays. But get a hold of Brian. The link is in the show notes. I bet you he would love to hear from you. All right, man, I'm going to get you out of here because I know you got shit to do. But don't forget, Live Rishi, High Speed Daddy, my website. Keep kicking ass. Till next time.